What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we're back on the Reacts channel talking about this Mike Chappell tweet that came out just yesterday when we were recording this. He said that he had a nice exchange with Ryan Kelly, longtime Colts center. We'll see what's out there when the free agent market opens in mid-March. He said that he would prefer to stay in Indy, but Colts are prepared to go younger, and in quotations, Tanner Bortolini at the position. So, this is kind of something, Cody, that we've already talked about at length throughout this offseason. Even before the offseason began, we even put out a video of, could this be the last season that Ryan Kelly ever puts on a Colts uniform? We didn't know his commitment to the Indianapolis Colts long term. We didn't know if he was going to retire. We didn't know if he was going to want to be in Indy. This is basically putting it out there that, Ryan Kelly is going to see what is out there. But the Colts are making it clear, it sounds like, that Tanner Bortolini is the direction moving forward, regardless if Ryan Kelly returns for the short term or not. Tanner Bortolini sounds like he's going to get a chance to be the long-term solution for this team. And, there might be a good chance that Ryan Kelly decides to maybe go look for a team that might have a better chance at winning a championship right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something that you and I have talked about, like you said. We both, I think, are on the train of, hey, you know what? Ryan Kelly, we love what Ryan Kelly's done for this organization. He has been a great Colt since, 2016 when he got drafted. He has seen a lot of different changes, a lot of different quarterbacks in his time, and he has been consistent, and he has been, I think he's the longest tenured Colt right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's the longest tenured Colt on this roster right now.
So, pretty sure, yeah, because he was back in 2016. So.
Yeah, so he was one of the few I think the only Ryan Grigson pick left here. So, yeah, I mean, overall, Derek, I'm kind of torn with this. I mean, I think on one hand, you love what Ryan Kelly has done for this team, but you can't hide the fact that he is over 30 and he's been injured. He's had his fair share of injuries. I mean, last year he played, and I think it was only 4 games in 2024. So, but then, you look at the season prior to that, and he was a Pro Bowler. So it's kind of a weird situation you find yourself in if you're the Indianapolis Colts, where you love what Ryan Kelly has done, but also, and this, this post obviously hints at that, you drafted the guy that you believe can be your future in Tanner Bortolini, right? And, obviously Tanner Bortolini is still on that rookie contract. So, devil's advocate would say, okay, even if you did bring back Ryan Kelly, Tanner Bortolini is still going to be under contract for the next number of years, right? So I guess when it comes to this, I think there is a way where the Indianapolis Colts could do both if they did it correctly, where, they would bring back Ryan Kelly, but also understanding that he's just not going to get handed this job. Tanner Bortolini is going to seriously compete. And long term, that meaning, 2026, 2027, Tanner Bortolini is that guy. I think that's where, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, that would make sense. But then on the other side of things, you say, what's the point in bringing Ryan Kelly back? Because he's been injured a lot. You already have the guy that you believe is your future. So I can see both sides of it. I think if I'm personally, making the decisions, Derek, I do think I consider bringing back Ryan Kelly for a short-term, prove-it type of deal sort of thing, where it's understanding that he is not going to be the guy moving forward, but also, Derek, allowing him to go out like he's talked about and see what's out there in free agency. And if there's a team offering him, near what he was making the last couple of years, then all right, good luck. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your, almost decade here. But, it's very clear the Colts are wanting to go younger at that position and also go cheaper at that position too, right? Because you look at some of the contracts on the horizon for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen at right tackle with Braden Smith, so you could be moving off of that. We've talked about that. You don't know what's going to happen at right guard. You'd like to probably have Will Fries back, but what's he going to command? And then I don't know if it's this offseason or next offseason. Then you got Bernard Ryman coming up for a contract extension as well. He's going to be paid, I think, pretty well because of the nature of his position, and I think he is really blossomed into a nice player for you. And we know how important left tackle is. I mean, if there are like positions that are super important, like if there's positions that are more important than others, you would kind of call the premium positions. I do think left tackle is one of those. So there's a lot of things to weigh here for the Indianapolis Colts, but I think if it's a situation where there's not a big market for Ryan Kelly and you can get him at a much cheaper deal than you've had him on the last couple of years, I mean, at least consider it. I mean, considering what this guy has given you, I wouldn't mind that because also, if and when he does get injured again, you do have Tanner Bortolini right there and you do have Danny Pinter right there. But also, you just want to start the new, center now. You just want to start that position fresh with a young guy and just let him figure it out, But Derek, one more thing I forgot to mention on the pro keeping Ryan Kelly. Do you want to do that to Anthony Richardson too? Ryan Kelly has been such a good player for the Colts, and he has, through all the different quarterbacks he has been and all the different offensive line combinations that we are very aware of, he has been a guy that's consistently been there. So yeah. Do you want to change that in a make or break year for AR as well, where his future is in question? You don't know about right tackle. Do you want to potentially, I'm not saying it's going to make it harder on him, but do you want to take that risk, I guess, when it comes to that? That's a big question as well.
It's interesting because, again, Anthony Richardson has had plenty of time with both Tanner Bortolini and Ryan Kelly this year, because, again, both of them have been back and forth. Again, Ryan Kelly is a very good center, okay? He may not be the all-pro center that he was several years ago, but, again, when he's on the field, he's still a very good center. He's still very good. Very smart, very wise. He's still an anchor. He can do all the necessary things to be a good center for any team out there. I would argue there's probably I could count less centers in the NFL on my two hands that are better than Ryan Kelly at this moment. But Cody, again, it is just like everything else. It's your availability. We've had this argument so much with so many other people. And again, it just comes down to the fact that it feels like the majority of the time, he just is always hurt or there's just something always that's happening. So you're right. Like if you're the Indianapolis Colts, and it's not a situation, Cody, where like you're sitting here and you're saying, oh, let's see what Tanner Bortolini can do. And, we're taking a massive gamble, right? Tanner Bortolini went out there and played the part pretty dang good. I mean, Tanner Bortolini is not an elite center. I would argue he's not even a really good center, but he's a good center right now. He's a good center. He already, as a fourth rounder, came into that position and had quite a bit of experience in his rookie year. And he can come into it now and be like, hey, this whole offseason, this is going to be yours. And go fight for it. Go be the best center that you can be. And let's have you be the center of the future for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think most Colts fans will say, that would be all right. That would be all right. Tanner Bortolini at center, you can't really do a lot. You could do better, but I mean, you certainly couldn't imagine it to be much worse. So, I mean, that's a great situation. And another reason why I think that Ryan Kelly is on his way out is, again, if he knew he wanted to stay in Indy and he wanted to, be a part of what's to come, he would have just said, I'm not really looking. And I'm just wanting to, try to figure things out here in Indy. If you had major props to think that you were going to stay in Indy, you wouldn't really have to go look and see what's out there. It kind of sounds like a Saquon Barkley situation from last year, Cody. Like Saquon Barkley said the same thing. Like, I would love to be in New York, but I mean, if you're not going to give me a choice, then I'm going to go test my options and see what I have out there. And if Mike Chappell is correct and the Colts really are saying like, hey, listen, we got this backup option. If you choose not to come here, it's no skin off our back. We're going to give this kid the shot. And so, Ryan Kelly in a way might not feel like the job is really his. And, again, he's good, but you're right. He's on the wrong side of 30. The injuries keep piling up. And, he's starting to get worse and worse throughout the years. It just feels like this is just, I know says he prefer to stay in Indy. I just don't know by looking at this if that really is what's going to happen.
That's a fair point. I think also when you look at Chris Ballard, he has allowed guys to go out before and weigh their options. He's allowed this to happen and then ended up bringing back guys. So I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility that could be the case here. And Derek, I guess if you're talking about the idea of competition too, wouldn't it make sense to potentially bring back Ryan Kelly for the right price and really, truly have an all-out competition there? Like, wouldn't that make sense if you're truly looking to do that? Or, going out and signing a veteran if it isn't Ryan Kelly, just providing more competition. As much as you like Tanner Bortolini, believe he can be your guy, you can't do what you've done with this, with different positions in the past. You can't just hand positions to guys. They need real competition in there to truly determine, are they the guys or aren't they? And I think it's something where even if you did bring back Ryan Kelly, you're not just bringing him back on the contingent like it's been the last couple of years where you are 100% going to be our starter, right? You got to go out there and you got to earn it, man. Like, you got to figure this out. So again, it really does come down to, what is Ryan Kelly looking for? What are other teams offering Ryan Kelly? And do the Indianapolis Colts want to bring him back? I mean, those are all the factors. It takes two sides to make it happen. But I think if you did bring him back, it wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind it on the contingent that he's just not going to get handed it, just like Tanner Bortolini. I don't think it'd be wise to just hand him that position either. As good as I think he can be, I want to see him actually have some competition and earn it, Derek, because let's face it, like Danny Pinter, he's good, but Derek, he's a backup center, right? Like, you need a legitimate competition in there. So that's what I would say as far as that goes. But I guess it really does come down to, what is Ryan Kelly looking for? What are the Colts looking for if they decide to bring him back, or are they looking to bring him back at all? So there's a lot of factors, certainly, and I think I'd be all right with either, honestly. I'm not going to be too torn up if Ryan Kelly moves on. I totally understand that. But also, I wouldn't mind it if they brought him back to kind of compete in there on a, cheap veteran minimum or something around that, where it's not a whole lot of money, knowing that he's not going to be the guy moving forward, but he's going to provide some real competition in there. So I wouldn't mind either way, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably about it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. That's our initial reaction to Ryan Kelly talking about his future. And, that's the age-old question. Is Ryan Kelly's days numbered here in Indianapolis? If it is, I mean, we'll certainly have a video to mention about it. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always,